on down.
This is everybody, looks like.
Oh, okay, cool. I've heard of it, I've never been there.
We have 5
Okay,
locations.
whenever,
We got
we'll wait for your go.
Yeah.
got a minute
Your
or
go,
so.
no go?
Just tell Zach that, but I guess you guys can give somebody, when you give somebody the price, they don't.
How did Rotary go, Zach?
How's it going?
You'll have to go over there.
We're go? Okay.
Oh, well. This
Okay,
is-
call the meeting of the Mount Vernon, City of Mount Vernon New Community Authority to order for January 27th, 2026. We noted that I'd like to welcome Kathy Greenick, Superintendent of the Knox County Career Center, as our newest member, confirmed by council, and has sworn the oath of office before starting today's meeting. So a little bit of orientation. So welcome, Kathy. Thanks for serving. Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Greenwich?
Here.
Dr. Starr?
Here.
Mr. Brenneman?
Here.
Mr. Green?
Here.
Mr. Hall?
Here.
Mr. Ball?
Here.
Mr. Filkins?
Here.
Mr. Stoller?
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. We're all here. Anyway, thanks everybody for being here. The meeting minutes from September 18th, Maureen did send them out. They're also in your tab 2. If you would, are there any additions or corrections to the meeting minutes? Is there a motion then to approve as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Who was the mover? You, Zach, and then Sam seconded. Thank you.
Yes.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Any abstentions? They are approved. I want to back up just one tab to the contact sheet real quick. If you would make sure to go over that, to update any information. I know there will be an update to my email. I'll make sure you get that as well.
And Kathy's email address is also incorrect on the copy that you have in your packets, but that has
Right,
been corrected.
she has a city email now too, so, we'll,
It should be noted, you still have the Mount Vernon, Ohio.org. So all the city emails need to be updated to the
yeah. So,
.gov.
yeah.
Okay.
And that suffix is now is mtvernonh.gov.
So it looks like Sam's the
My
winner.
address is 307 West High Street.
Wait, what? No.
Not
No,
my
the business,
personal.
yes,
but the-
I realized that. I was like, wait, what?
Oh wait, so yeah, there you go, everybody gets a change.
My phone number, Maureen, my phone number is 504-2303.
2-2.
What was it?
504-2303.
9524, the tax office?
I don't know.
And then Doug, you've got
Never
a
called
city,
it on
you've
the
got a city email address too, do you not?
I
If
do,
you
but it's
call
not
it,
working
there.
for some reason,
All right,
so.
well, we'll have to get IT on that for you. How about the rest of you guys?
Good now.
You're good? Zach, you? Okay.
Yes, a couple people have Shade Tree were having the same problem from a few minutes ago.
So I see, maybe I'm the only one with my personal address on there. Can I put either my business or city hall? Do I need to have my personal?
No, so we can just put City Hall if you're comfortable with that.
For the time being, we'll be 40 Public Square, but good Lord willing, we'll be down in the new building after this meet. So that'll be that address will be 236 South Main Street when we get there. Okay. Any other changes to the contact sheet?
Maureen, my phone number would be 740-504-7058.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Next up, public comment. This is just anyone who would be here to speak on matters of public comment concern, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to, we will close the public comment portion of this meeting then. Let the records state that. So now we've got consideration resolutions under tab number let's see, tab 3. Tab 3 is the first one. 2601, ratifying the 2025 resolution. So, Michael, do you want to talk a little bit? And again, just for everybody's edification, we'll discuss these before we actually put them out for a motion and a vote. I'm going to exercise a little bit of freedom in terms of doing that, so we don't have to technically follow the Robert's rules down to the T. So, I think we'll try that. So, Michael, do you want to explain what this one is about?
Yes, so the resolution you have before you, 2026-01, is to ratify all of the resolutions that were adopted in calendar year 2025. We were reviewing notice publication for all of the meetings in 2025, and there was some potential confusion about whether or not all of the meetings had been properly noticed. So in order to make sure that all of the resolutions in 2025 were properly adopted, we are ratifying them through this resolution. Happy to answer any questions related to it.
Any questions for Michael on this? This is pretty much housekeeping then?
Yes.
Okay.
No change in language?
Correct. Yeah, no changes in any of the resolutions that were adopted in 25, just simply affirming again that they were properly adopted.
I'll move approval of resolution 2026-01.
It's been moved to approve this. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been second. Any discussion? Ms. Saul, will you call the roll, please? It's just the voting members here.
Ms. Greenwich?
Yes,
Is it Greenick or Greenick?
Greenick.
Greenick.
Greenick,
Okay, yeah,
that's fine.
Sorry.
Mr.
you.
Brenneman?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Ball?
Yes.
Mr. Filkins?
Yes.
Mr. Stoller?
I'm not a
He's not-
voting member.
You're not, I'm sorry.
Finance guys aren't allowed to vote.
Okay. So it is approved. Okay, next one is Resolution 2602, adopting the budget. Michael, do you want to explain where we are on the budget? And
Yes, so Exhibit A to the resolution, so it's the page right before tab 5, is a draft of the 2026 budget. You'll see that there's an initial cash balance. We are working on ensuring that that is the current cash balance of the new community authority. So there was a series of 2025 bonds that were closed for the Liberty Crossing project last year. Out of that closing, the new community authority is due $26,700. And then what you'll see in the estimated revenue line items is that from that Liberty Crossing bond borrowing, the new community authority is due a $10,000 annual fee through the life of those bonds. And then there's a administrator fee as well that will flow through the flow to the new community authority for it to pay for administrator services related to calculating the annual community development charges. What you see in the appropriations line items are just some rough estimates for potential services. I don't believe the new community authority is currently expending anything for insurance. I think that's a partnership with the city. But as far as legal services, we put in just a figure for general legal services, all of the legal services that have been for sales tax exemptions that are partnerships with Morrow County or bond issuances. The legal fees have come out of those projects, so those aren't directly billed to the new community authority. I also know that the city has been advancing funds for legal services, so the amounts appropriated may need to be adjusted as the new community authority pays the city back for any advanced legal fees. Financial advisor accounting and audit services, those are also just placeholding appropriation amounts. And then there's a contract that the new community authority has for Argus, with Argus Growth Consultants for that annual community development charge calculation and administrative services in the amount of $15,000. So you'll essentially see that money flow through from the bond issuance, from the bond proceeds annually, and then paid out for administrative services, so that the new community authority itself is not using any of its revenue to pay for those administrative services, which leaves the ending estimated cash balance that you see there at the bottom. We also include an actual budgetary tab column, so the new community authority treasurer or legal counsel can assist with helping track actual revenue and expenditures throughout the year if the board is so interested.
Okay. Any questions on the budget?
A couple, actually. You mentioned legal fees associated with sales tax exemptions, and I believe that people who have sales tax exemptions also pay a legal fee. So are we covering those on behalf of those buyers, or are they paying them and we're paying them twice to Morrow County?
So the sales tax exemptions within the city are being paid out of those transactions.
Okay,
So there's
it's
no
not
double
in
payment.
within our legal 10,000 there.
Correct.
Okay. And then we're burning cash faster than we're bringing it in, but is it the assumption that because we'll have collections this year, that will not be the case in future years?
The appropriations are estimates, so beyond legal fees, I don't know that the new community authority has actually expended any anything to date. So this might be an overestimation of what actually will get expended in 2026. But the plan and hope is that with an additional bond issuance potentially for the multifamily of Liberty Crossing this year, and potentially additional projects, that they will generate more revenue than the board expends.
And then my last question is, so calculating that charge will get more complicated as we have more people who are in the NCA, and then as that NCA then gets subdivided into houses, does that charge for 15,000, is that gonna go up as it gets more complicated, or?
No, that is a flat fee for however complicated administration gets.
Great, thank you.
Good question.
Which, to your point, as more developments not only come into the new community authority, but also as existing developments get split into different lots, it'll start to become a lot to track.
Yeah, at that point, 15,000 is a great deal. With one parcel right now, it's not so good.
I thought the county auditor or treasurer took care of that because it's in with the property taxes landowner pays, right?
So the charge amount has to be certified to the county auditor to then be put on the tax bills by the county treasurer. And the administrator will help calculate what the charges should be to
Okay.
then certify them.
And then once they're collected, then they just turn over the money to the NCA then.
Correct. The county auditor will
Is there
make a
any audit?
semi-annual disbursement to the new community authority.
Is there an auditing function with that administrative fee to make sure that we get the amount that we should get?
So the board will vote on annually the charges to be certified to the county auditor. So the board will have the opportunity to review a report, essentially, that'll have a parcel by parcel breakdown of the calculated charges, if that's what you're referring to.
I think you're saying back checking that.
I'm just saying, we're gonna get some cash in the NCA. How do we know that it's the right amount? that
So there
was
will be,
paid or supposed to have been collected?
So the administrator will help with that reconciliation as well,
Okay.
to make sure that, because there will inevitably be some delinquencies. So if someone doesn't pay their property taxes in full or at all, that means they probably won't pay their new community authority charge in full or at all. So the administrator will help track any delinquencies and be able to help factor that into the future to make sure that all debt service payments are paid timely.
So if I'm just Just for my own understanding, David, you were asking, well, Michael, you said it's gonna be a semi-annual disbursement of the funds, correct?
Of community development charges.
Community development, yeah, okay. And then, David, you were just asking about any auditing or how will the board know what we're supposed to get? The administrator is helping with that as well.
Yeah,
so-
Sam was asking about the front end, and I was asking about the back
Okay,
end.
all right.
Like, when
I was
we
trying to
actually-
figure out where the difference was coming in your question, so, got it. Okay. Are you good with the explanation then, too?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
So 15,000 goes a long way, I mean, for what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions on the budget and this resolution?
When somebody pays their tax bill, is this just going to be figured in, or like you said, they could be delinquent on their taxes? Could they pay just their taxes and not pay their NCA?
Counties handle the prioritization of paying what's on the tax bills differently. I think most counties tend to prioritize the payment of assessments. And when the county treasurer sends out tax bills, I think the community development charge is going to look like an assessment, a separate line item from your real property tax calculation on your tax bill. So when the taxes are paid, say if someone doesn't pay their bill in full, likely when their payment is received by the county treasurer, the community development charge will be prioritized for
It
payment.
will not be.
It will not be?
The Knox County treasurer prioritizes payment of property taxes to the county.
Over assessments?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so.
Yes, they've been quite explicit about that, as our water and wastewater department can tell you.
So there may be scenarios where we need to have conversations and recalculations of future community development charges that go unpaid.
So the city, leading up to the NCA and all the work that we did issuing the bond, incurred legal fees. And it was my understanding that $26,700 that we received as closing costs or funds from the bond issuance, that would go towards some of the expenses we had incurred earlier.
It can. It's the board's discretion. So there are no restrictions on how that $26,700 should be spent.
Okay, because I put together I have to file financials with the state, so I put together a statement of financial position and activity that I'm gonna file. I had accrued expenses of $26,700. So my income for '25 was $26,700. My expenses are $26,700. So I'm at zero for next year because I'm paying the city back. But I guess you're saying that's up for discussion.
Yes, so we could modify what's presented here as a budget to reflect what you just stated too, in that these appropriated amounts, we could just have it as a $26,700 repayment transfer to the city, rather than these placeholders for other services.
Would we
Then we'd be negative by the end of the year. Without making other changes.
Assuming that those appropriated amounts are actually expended.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we should pass though a budget that would indicate that we'd be $10,000 in the hole at the end of the year.
Yeah.
can you hold on for a little while longer before we pay ourselves back?
Yeah, I mean,
Or can that
So-
10,000 that's legal in this budget go towards that too?
The 10,000 in fee income is unrestricted for the board's use.
Sorry, I meant for the appropriations. You have a 10,000 legal. I imagine a fair amount of your 26,700 is legal.
it's all legal.
Yeah, so
All
then
legal.
that is, it, as an appropriate, it adds, it's taking it means that we're only spending then 16,700 out of the carryover on legal. Assuming that then we have zero legal fees aside from what has happened previous in 2026, which you're here today and it is
Right.
2026, so I imagine
Yeah.
that's a false.
I mean, my position is we should adopt this as presented because I feel like we went into this knowing that the city's gonna subsidize this for 2 to 3 years and we'll settle up eventually.
And that can be, this budget can be amended at any time. So if it's determined that the board wants to start paying back the city for, legal fees that it's been advancing, you could start incorporating that piecemeal into different budgets if you wanted to, or do it all at once. It's at your discretion.
Could we
Okay.
add as a receivable on this budget to the city, that amount, so that it sits there and it's in record that we are gonna make the city whole in the future?
Mhm.
Well, this is a budget, not a balance sheet.
Well,
So-
I've got a balance sheet.
Yeah,
but,
so it should be
um,
on the balance sheet.
And we could do that, and that's probably a good idea, cause then we would know what we're out.
Yeah,
As-
cause then you're not, I don't want you to come next year and say, you have 50,000, you know? The public knows
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
subsidy has been, and we're stopping that bleeding, I guess, from now.
So where would you put this, where would you put that then? Where would you propose putting that? Because we'll wanna, what we're looking at is amending this, and then,
This is an income statement, so you would have another document, it's a balance, the balance sheet, with the receivables and that kind of stuff.
it would be in addition to this.
Yeah, you have, there's actually two
Yeah, okay.
documents.
Yeah, I'm out of my depth about how to notate it. I just feel like if we do have something we owe in the future, it should be on paper.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with Sam, but I think I also agree with Dave, you have 2 documents.
so we are looking at, adding another page with a balance sheet to go with this?
No,
or-
I think the budget is fine, wait, you know, if we're looking at 26, doing it this way
Okay.
is fine, we don't need a balance sheet budget. But that balance sheet's in the background, so there's things that are going on that you have to put on there. That's what Sam was talking. He was suggesting that we track what the city has paid on our behalf as a receivable, which I
Yeah.
think is a good idea.
And if it would be helpful for future meeting agendas, we could also add a treasurer's report. And you could
Yes,
discuss those financials updated on a monthly basis if you'd like to, or a quarterly basis, or.
Yeah.
let's, I like that idea. We'll entertain a motion on that later on.
So I have a couple questions. On my balance sheet, I had a long-term debt, 2.67 million, that the NCA is gonna pay back with funds that get paid to the NCA. Is that correct or not correct?
That is correct.
And then we have an ordinance that says we can collect 2% of property tax fees, which is in essence an asset. So in my balance sheet, I have an asset that is future collections for that debt, which equals the debt.
So, I can't speak to the finest point of, GAAP accounting for taxes in arrear or charges in arrear. The reason you don't see community development charge revenue on the proposed budget is because the charges will first be assessed in calendar year 26 and collected in calendar year 27 on the 27 tax bills. I don't think it's improper to accrue them for your 2026 financials. Most entities that we work with are just on a cash basis, so they're just really recording what comes in and what goes out to help simplify understanding of that arrearage that you have with real property taxes and charges. So a long answer to say that yes, I think you can account for it that way.
All right.
So are we then looking at amending this or accepting the budget as it is? And then what are we talking about with the
I can, so I'm gonna make a couple edits to what I did based on this, and if we're just gonna track with a receivable, how much is owed to the city, then I think that's gonna be fine.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna worry about paying us back and just use the cash
And
going
then
forward.
when we get to the treasurer's report motion, when we get that, then that will be pretty much in your corner to provide every time.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Make a
Okay, we
motion
got-
to move, to adopt resolution 2026-02, the 2026 budget.
It's been moved for the adoption of the 2026 budget. Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion?
Thanks for your patience, guys. We worked through that.
Okay, please call the roll.
Ms. Greenwich?
Greenick, like the
Greenick.
stuff on top of a
Green.
pond. Green.
Greenick.
Yes.
Dr. Starr?
Yes.
Mr. Brenneman?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Ball?
Yes.
Mr. Filkins?
Yes.
Okay. That one is passed now. We're moving on to resolution number 2026-03, adopting insurance. Mr. Ringel, you want to give us an explanation of this?
Absolutely. So Resolution 2026-03 is a resolution that we recommend for adoption every year, similar to the budget. It's simply a resolution that authorizes the procurement of insurance for the board.
Any questions on this? When the energy's right, we'll entertain a motion.
Move approval of resolution 2026-03.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded for the approval of resolution 2026-03. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Greenick?
Yes.
Dr. Starr?
Yes.
Mr. Brenneman?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Ball?
Yes.
Mr. Filkins?
Yes.
That one is approved also. The next one is resolution 2026-04, approving addition of residences at Founder's Grove. That's under tab 6 for you all. Mr. Engel, you want to cover this one with us?
Yes, I'll go through a little historical perspective for everyone. So whenever there is a new development that's going to be added to the new community authority, there's a multi-step process. The process begins with a petition to City Council, which for this property, the residences at Founder's Grove, this development, it's off of Upper Gilcrest in the northeast. It had gone through the petition process with the city, a public hearing. There was legislation before the city to not only approve of the petition, which is the formal process on the city side, to include the territory in the development site and into the new community authority, but then the city also voted to approve a supplemental declaration that will be recorded on this property. Each development site has its own unique supplemental declaration, and it's really just a recording, like your mortgage, that says how much you owe in community development charges. For the residences at Founder's Grove development site, they are going to have charged against their site the 4 mills, and they currently are not asking for those development charges to back any type of financing at the moment. As of right now, those charges will be assessed against the property, and as the development, as buildings are start to be built on the development, it will generate revenue that will go into the new community authority for whatever purposes it chooses to use that revenue for. This resolution 2026-04 is a approval of adding the residences at Founder's Grove site to the new community authority. And then the next resolution that you'll see that we will discuss is 2026-05. That's to approve that supplemental declaration, that mortgage that provides official recorded notice of those charges.
Any questions on this one, 2026-04? I do have one question. By the time things reach us, it has already gone through all, this was one of the things that Ms. Greenick and I were talking about in her onboarding and orientation. It will need to, anything that comes before us really has gone through the city's gauntlet pretty much before
Yes.
it gets us.
And that's what we recommend.
Yeah.
Sometimes a new community authority can dual track legislation depending on how quickly something is developing. But the preferred method and the way that the residences at Founders Grove moved through the process is a full city approval review and city approval process before coming to the board for the final sign off.
Thank you for that clarification. I appreciate that. Rob, were you gonna say something
No.
in addition? Okay, thank you. Okay,
With this development, it's a little different in that you have pretty much one taxpayer, I think, paying.
Correct.
So what's the line that he has to cross in order to start paying us?
The charges are calculated on improvement value. So probably starting in calendar year 2027, when you start to have structure on the land value will increase. And then with the building, the county auditor will assess a value to that, and that's what the charges will get applied to.
any other questions?
I move to adopt resolution 2026-04.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Brenneman. It's been moved and seconded for the adoption of 2026-04, approving addition of residences at Founders Grove. Any discussion? Then call the roll, please.
Ms. Grunick,
Yes.
Dr. Starr,
Yes?
Mr. Brenneman,
Yes.
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. Ball,
Yes.
Mr. Philpins.
Michael, should I abstain? since I
You don't
already-
have to.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. It is approved. Thank you. Good call. Okay, next up is Resolution 2026-05, the second supplemental declaration that Mr. Ringel was talking a little bit about. What is, if you can tell, what a supplemental declaration is, just for educational purposes, and then if there are any questions that we have on that, we'll be sure to pick your brain.
Yes. So some additional context. When the new community authority was formed, there was a declaration that was recorded on city ground. It doesn't levy any charges against city ground, but it formed the base legal infrastructure for implementing these charges on tax bills. So each development will have its own supplemental declaration, which is, you can describe it as a mortgage. It's a tailored mortgage to each development, so that only that development pays those charges. And there are cross-references in each supplemental declaration to the master declaration that's applicable to the whole new community authority. So it's really just the legal documentation supporting collecting the charges.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on the second supplemental declaration?
Move approval of resolution 2026-05.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded for the adoption of 2026-05, adjoining second supplemental declaration. Any discussion? Mrs. Hall, please call the roll.
Ms. Grunick,
Yes.
Dr. Starr,
Yes.
Mr. Brenneman,
Yes.
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. Ball,
Yes.
Mr. Philpins.
Yes.
Okay, that one is approved as well. The last resolution that we have, am I right? Yeah, the last resolution we have is 2026-06, adopting a cybersecurity policy. That's under tabulation, or tab 8. all of us are familiar with needing to have this kind of policy in place. So Michael, do you want to just give us the basics here and keep us out of court, would you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the legislature, in its infinite wisdom, and the state attorney, auditor of state's office adopted some legislation in the last General Assembly that requires all political subdivisions in the state to have a cybersecurity program, even if they don't have any hardware or software that they operate on a daily basis. So the new community authority is a political subdivision that falls within that catch-all definition of needing to have a cybersecurity program. So we are recommending to the board to adopt a cybersecurity policy, which you have attached as Exhibit A to the resolution. And it's mostly to meet audit purposes when the board is asked if it has a cybersecurity program. The revised code sections that were adopted requires that every political subdivision not only have a program, but as part of that program, that if there are any cybersecurity incidences or ransomware incidences, that they're reported to the Ohio Auditor of State and the Ohio Department of Homeland Security within a certain time frame. The board does not currently have any data that would really be subject to a cybersecurity policy, but state law requires that you have a program in place by the end of June. So we recommend adopting a policy for audit protection purposes. The resolution before you also has seeks to designate someone as a designated security representative for the board, so that if the new community authority were made aware of a cyber attack or ransomware attack of its data, that it could report that to the Ohio Auditor of State. Frankly, I can't think of a scenario where you would have data that would be subject to a ransomware or cybersecurity attack that would need reported, but we think it best to adopt best practices all the same.
So who will be designated as that?
Who would ever like to volunteer. So it does not necessarily need to be a board member. It could be a designee of the board, just as Mr. Stoller serves as the designee, the treasurer designee, and is not a voting board member. So it's up to the board's discretion.
Oh, I'm wondering if we can ask someone from our IT contract services to do this, that they already handle this stuff anyway already for the city. We're all using city emails and trying to keep everything on one server.
We know who the designee is on, because we adopted the city council adopted the same policy, right?
Right. Well, similar.
Similar, but do we know
It's our IT.
the county IT is designated already?
Yeah.
I don't know, does that make sense, Rob?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We could designate Knox County IT.
I would be very happy with that. I don't know how the rest of you feel.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's not just a person, it's a unit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if that person's on
Somebody's on call,
vacation,
yeah.
then we have an on-call person.
Somebody's there. Okay. Oh,
They're conveniently not here to deny that.
if we've got to revisit, we'll revisit, but in the meantime, this is their wheelhouse. They already know it. They've had the training and they know the reporting procedures already, so.
Well, I would make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-06 designating Knox County IT under section 2.
Second.
Been moved and seconded for the adoption of 2026-06. Any discussion? Mrs. Alvey, please call the roll.
Ms. Grunick,
Yes.
Dr. Starr,
Yes.
Mr. Brenneman,
Yes.
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. Ball,
Yes.
Mr. Felton.
Yes.
That concludes the consideration of resolutions portion of the agenda. We're moving on now to other business in an open discussion. I do have the one follow-up item in terms of this group desiring to have a treasurer's report at each meeting. We probably need do we need a formal motion to get that across the finish line?
I don't-
And discussion?
Think you do, but you can have one.
We can, you don't think we do?
No, I don't think you'll. I think it's at the board's chair's discretion to set the agenda.
So I brought financial statements, but they're not, I wouldn't distribute it, cause I made some assumptions that
Okay.
weren't in here,
All right.
so.
Well, at the next board meeting, then we'll,
Yeah.
if everyone's fine, we'll just, we'll have the treasurer's report, and you can let us know where we are on things.
Yeah, well, so we issued I'll just
Yeah,
talk
go ahead.
about what happened. We issued the bond December 18th, $2.67 million, and the developer at Liberty Crossing received 2.565, something like that. And then the difference was split among some of the underwriting activities, the legal activities, and then we, as an NCA, received 1% of it, which was $26,700. That's what was highlighted in Michael's report as the cash that we received. So that was to pay our expenses as we wish, whatever is up. So we have a liability for 2.67 million. We have cash of 26,700. Right now, that's basically what the NCA has. We did not, okay, I know. So we had wiring instructions that were sent to, as part of the closing process. We have a bank account at Park that was ready to go for the closing, and money wasn't there, it's not there yet. So that's why we're
In the process of getting it there.
There's 26,700 out there somewhere, and we think Argent has it,
Yes, it's being held by the trustee.
Okay.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good thing we have a policy.
That stopped it. Okay, is there any other unfinished business or items for open discussion?
Michael, do you have any examples of financial statements other NCAs have filed with the state, or how would I get a hold of that? Just so I don't reinvent the wheel. 'Cause I
Yes.
was doing something what I thought was appropriate, but I'd rather look at something else.
Yes, yeah, we can get some examples.
I have a contact also who's been doing a lot of this,
Okay.
so.
There are also the new community authorities financials that are filed with the Ohio Auditor State are publicly accessible once the audit's been released. So you can go through the Ohio Auditor State's website and search new community authority
Oh, okay.
in the entity type, just like you'd be able to search the city of Mount Vernon to pull up audited financials for the city. And all new community authority financials that have been audited, they're on a less frequent cycle than many municipalities, but you can look at those filings as well, if you'd like.
Any other general discussion? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Move to second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Give me that side of the
Oh, thank you.
That's right.
Doug, we need to get you in touch with our IT department.
Oh, yeah.
And Kathy, we need to make sure that you, well, who's the guy? Trevor, right? Trevor's the guy. The IT person for the program.
Jared left.
Jared. Who was our, Trevor or Jared?
Same time.
Our IT person. Well, can I ask Guy? I don't know. I get it.
Zach is our new,
Anyway, well, we'll get, I'll have them reach out, I'll have the person reach out to both of you, okay?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Text all these guys at the same time.
It's all gonna be from the rest of the week too, right? I mean, what's gonna change?